The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, transmitted simultaneously to every communications device on Earth. Dr. Maya Rodriguez stood in her laboratory at the Global Defense Initiative headquarters, watching as her holographic displays flickered with the incoming transmission. The message was clear and devastating: submit or be erased. The Astral Confederation, a coalition of advanced civilizations spanning 3 galactic arms, had finally taken notice of humanity's rapid technological advancement. Their ultimatum was simple: Earth would submit to their authority, or face extinction. They gave humanity 48 hours to decide. In the vast underground complex beneath the Rocky Mountains, Maya's fingers flew across her quantum interface console, analyzing the signal structure. After 15 years leading the GDI's research division, she had prepared for this moment, though she had hoped it would never come. The signal contained something else, hidden beneath layers of exotic particles, a pattern she had seen before. "Admiral Harrison," she called, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "I need you to see this." The tall, weathered figure of Admiral Thomas Harrison strode into the lab, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly in the dim light. He had led Earth's combined defense forces for the past decade, overseeing the integration of humanity's military might into a single, cohesive unit. "What have you found, Dr. Rodriguez?" he asked, studying the complex wave patterns dancing across her screens. "The signal, it's using quantum entanglement principles we discovered 3 years ago. Principles we kept secret." Maya highlighted a specific sequence, expanding it across the main display. "This technology is ours, Admiral. Someone gave it to them." The implications were staggering. Either humanity's most closely guarded secrets had been stolen, or someone wanted them to notice this particular detail. As Maya dug deeper into the signal structure, she uncovered more familiar patterns, ones that suggested the Confederation's technology might not be as advanced as they wanted humanity to believe. In the next few hours, global leaders convened in an emergency session. The public was panicking, stock markets were crashing, and military forces worldwide were mobilizing. But in her lab, Maya was discovering something that would change everything. "It's a bluff," she announced to the Emergency Council, her holographic projection standing before representatives from every nation. "Their transmission technology is based on principles we developed. They're using our own achievements against us, trying to intimidate us with smoke and mirrors." General Zhao Wei of the Asian Alliance leaned forward. "Are you suggesting we should refuse their demands, Dr. Rodriguez? The Confederation's ships are already in our solar system. Our long-range sensors confirm their presence." Maya nodded, pulling up a new set of data. "Yes, they're here. But look at their approach vectors, their energy signatures. They're trying too hard to appear overwhelming. It's like they're following a script, one written by someone who knows exactly how we'd analyze their capabilities." Admiral Harrison stepped forward, his cybernetic eye scanning the data. "Dr. Rodriguez has a point. Their formation is perfect, too perfect. It's exactly what we'd expect to see, exactly what would intimidate us the most. It's as if they're playing to our expectations." The next 40 hours were a blur of activity. While the world's leaders debated their response, Maya and her team worked tirelessly, analyzing every aspect of the Confederation's presence. They found more discrepancies, more hints that something wasn't quite right about humanity's supposed superiors. With just 6 hours remaining before the deadline, Maya made another breakthrough. Hidden deep within the quantum signature of the Confederation's messages was a recurring pattern, one that matched ancient signals detected by Earth's first quantum telescopes a decade ago. Signals that had been dismissed as background noise. "They're not just trying to conquer us," Maya explained to Admiral Harrison as the deadline approached. "They're afraid of us. They've been watching us for centuries, watching us solve problems they never could, develop technologies they never imagined. This ultimatum isn't about submission, it's about preventing us from reaching our full potential." As the final hours ticked away, Earth's response took shape. Maya's discoveries had changed everything. The Confederation's intimidation tactics had revealed their own fears, their own limitations. Humanity had been underestimated, but more importantly, they had been misunderstood. When the deadline arrived, Earth's response was transmitted using the very same quantum principles the Confederation had borrowed. It was short, defiant, and would change the course of galactic history. We see through your deception. We understand your fear. But we will not submit. Earth stands free. The message was sent, and for a moment, the world held its breath. In her lab, Maya watched as the Confederation's ships reacted, their perfect formation wavering for the first time. They hadn't expected this response. They hadn't truly understood what they were dealing with. Humanity had called their bluff. Now the real battle would begin, not just for survival, but for humanity's right to forge its own destiny among the stars. And thanks to Maya's discoveries, they would face this challenge armed with something more powerful than any weapon: the truth about their own potential. The Confederation's response to Earth's defiance came in the form of a massive fleet deployment. Thousands of ships emerged from hyperspace, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly metallic sheen. But something was different about their formation. Gone was the calculated perfection of their initial approach. Now they moved with obvious aggression, and perhaps a hint of desperation. Commander Reyna Patel stood on the bridge of the EDS Hyperion, Earth's most advanced battleship, watching the enemy fleets approach on the tactical display. Her dark eyes narrowed as she analyzed their movement patterns. 20 years of naval combat experience told her that something wasn't right about their strategy. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies," her communications officer reported. They're laughing at us, Commander." Reyna allowed herself a small smile. "Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted." She opened a secure channel to GDI headquarters. "Dr. Rodriguez, are you seeing this?" They took the bait. Maya's voice came through clear and confident. "Confirmed, Commander. The quantum web is ready. They have no idea what they're flying into." The quantum web was humanity's secret weapon, developed in the shadows over the past 5 years. While the Confederation had been watching Earth's obvious technological advances, they had missed the subtle breakthrough that would change everything. Dr. Rodriguez and her team had discovered a way to manipulate quantum fields on a massive scale, creating a web of entangled particles that could disable any ship that passed through it. "All ships, maintain position," Reyna ordered. "Let them come to us." The Earth Defense Fleet hung back near the moon, appearing to cower before the approaching armada. It was a carefully choreographed dance of apparent weakness. The Confederation fleet pressed forward, their ships moving faster now, eager to punish humanity's insolence. Their first wave of fighters streaked toward Earth's defenders, weapon systems charging. They expected a brief, one-sided battle that would teach humanity its place in the galaxy. They were wrong. "Now," Reyna commanded. Dr. Rodriguez, monitoring from her lab, activated the quantum web. There was no visible effect at first, no dramatic energy discharge, no spectacular explosion. Instead, the approaching Confederation ship simply stopped. Their engines died, their weapons powered down, and their supposedly advanced technology became nothing more than expensive space debris. "By the stars," Reyna's tactical officer whispered. It actually worked. The Confederation's second wave pulled up short, clearly confused by what had happened to their vanguard. Their perfect formation dissolved into chaos as ships tried to avoid whatever had killed their companions. "Launch our fighters," Reyna ordered. "Show them what humanity can really do." Squadrons of Earth's newest quantum fighters streaked out from behind the moon, their hulls incorporating the same technology that powered the quantum web. They moved with impossible precision, their pilots linked directly to their craft through neural interfaces, another innovation the Confederation had missed. The battle that followed was unlike anything in Earth's military history. The Confederation's ships, stripped of their technological advantages, found themselves facing an enemy that had spent millennia perfecting the art of warfare. Earth's fighters danced through their formation, targeting key systems with surgical precision. Admiral Harrison's voice came through on the command channel. "Commander Patel, we're detecting a power surge from their flagship. They're attempting to adapt." As expected, Reyna replied calmly. "Dr. Rodriguez?" "Already on it," Maya answered. "Initiating Phase 2. The quantum web shifted frequency, adapting faster than the Confederation's ships could analyze. More alien vessels went dark, their crews trapped inside powerless hulls. The few ships that managed to maintain power began to retreat, their formation completely broken. But victory wasn't Reyna's goal, not yet. This was about sending a message. She opened a channel to all ships, broadcasting on the same frequencies the Confederation had used to mock Earth. "Attention Confederation forces," she announced, her voice steady and clear. "You came to our system believing us to be primitive, believing you could intimidate us into submission. You were wrong. This demonstration was just the beginning. We are giving you one chance to leave our space and never return. If you choose to continue this fight, we will show you exactly why you were right to fear humanity's potential." The response was immediate. The remaining Confederation ships began to withdraw, their retreat becoming nearly a rout. But Reyna noticed something odd about their movement, something that confirmed Maya's earlier suspicions. "Dr. Rodriguez," she called. "Are you seeing this? Their retreat pattern." "Yes," Maya replied, excitement creeping into her voice. "Their ships are using standard human evasive maneuvers. Maneuvers we developed. Commander, I don't think we're dealing with the real Confederation at all." Reyna studied the tactical display, watching as the alien fleet fled toward the outer solar system. "Then who are we fighting? Who would have access to our technology, know our capabilities, and still try to force us into submission?" "I have a theory," Maya said. "But you're not going to like it. Meet me in the quantum lab as soon as you can. What we've discovered goes far beyond this battle. The real truth about humanity's place in the galaxy, it's bigger than anything we imagined." As the last Confederation ships disappeared into hyperspace, Reyna gave the order to stand down from battle stations. Earth had won its first major engagement with an alien force, but she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Something larger was unfolding, a mystery that went back to the very origins of human civilization. The silent strike had worked perfectly, but it had also revealed that humanity was caught in a game far more complex than a simple invasion. As her ship set course for Earth, Reyna prepared herself for revelations that would shake the foundations of human history. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, in a facility unknown to all but a handful of people, Dr. Maya Rodriguez stared at readings that defied everything she thought she knew about human history. Commander Reyna Patel stood beside her, her usual military composure shaken by what they were seeing. "The signal patterns from the Confederation ships," Maya explained, her hands moving across the holographic display, "they weren't just similar to our technology, they were exact copies of an engineering template we discovered here, in this facility, 3 months ago." The facility, designated Legacy Site Alpha, had been discovered during a routine geological survey. What they found was anything but routine, a vast complex of advanced technology, perfectly preserved in the ice, dating back over 50,000 years. "You're telling me," Admiral Harrison said, his cybernetic eye scanning the data, "that humans built this? 50,000 years ago?" "Not exactly," Maya replied. She pulled up a new display, showing genetic sequences. "We found human remains here, but they were different. Enhanced. Someone was experimenting with human evolution, pushing our species towards something greater. And then, suddenly, it all stopped." Commander Patel stepped closer to the display. "The Confederation. They're not aliens at all, are they?" "No," Maya confirmed. They're us. Or rather, they're what we were supposed to become. The genetic markers we found here match perfectly with trace DNA we recovered from disabled Confederation ships. They're an offshoot of humanity, one that left Earth millennia ago. The revelation hung in the air like a physical presence. Admiral Harrison was the first to break the silence. Why? Why leave, why hide this from us, and why come back now pretending to be aliens? Before Maya could answer, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. The ice above them trembled, and ancient systems, dormant for 50,000 years, began humming to life. "They're back," Reyna announced, checking her tactical display. "Multiple Confederation ships have appeared in high orbit. But something's different about these, they're not using our technology anymore." Maya rushed to another console as the facility's systems continued to activate. "These are the real Confederation ships. The others were just a test, using familiar technology to gauge our response. Now they're showing us what they really are." The facility's main chamber illuminated with a soft blue light as more systems awakened. Holographic displays filled the air, showing tactical information in a language that was both alien and strangely familiar. "Look at this," Maya said, her voice filled with wonder. "This facility, it's not just a research station. It's a command center. The systems are responding to the Confederation's presence. They recognize them." Admiral Harrison's cybernetic eye whirred as he processed the information. If this technology is over 50,000 years old, why is it still more advanced than anything we have today? "Because," Maya explained, her fingers dancing across ancient controls that responded to her touch as if they'd been waiting for her, "we weren't supposed to start over. Something happened, something that forced most of humanity to abandon Earth and leave the rest of us behind. Our civilization reset to the Stone Age." The facility's displays showed the Confederation fleet taking up attack positions around Earth. Their ships were different now, organic-looking vessels that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around them. "They're not here to conquer us," Maya realized, reading through streams of data from the awakening facility. "They're here to finish what they started 50,000 years ago. Earth was an experiment, an attempt to create a new evolution of humanity. When it went wrong, they split into two groups. Those who left became the Confederation, evolving along a technological path. We were left behind, to evolve naturally. And now they want to know which path was the right one," Reyna added, understanding dawning in her eyes. "That's why they tested us with familiar technology first. They wanted to see how we developed on our own." The facility trembled again, but this time it wasn't from the Confederation's presence. Deep beneath their feet, something vast was awakening, systems that had lain dormant for millennia, waiting for this exact moment. "They left us with a defense system," Maya said, her voice barely a whisper. "One that would only activate when we were ready, when we had advanced enough to understand what we truly are." Ancient machinery hummed to life throughout the chamber. On screens above them, they watched as similar facilities began activating all around the globe, a planetary defense network beyond anything they had imagined possible. "So what are we?" Admiral Harrison asked, watching as the facility's systems interfaced seamlessly with their modern technology, creating something entirely new. Maya looked up from her console, her eyes bright with understanding. "We're the control group. They left Earth to pursue technological evolution, but they kept us here, developing naturally, to answer one question: which path leads to true advancement? Their artificial evolution, or our natural development? And now we're about to find out," Reyna said, checking her tactical display as more Confederation ships arrived in orbit. "Because this isn't going to be a battle between their technology and ours. It's going to be a battle between what they've become and what humanity was truly meant to be." The facility's lights pulsed brighter, and they felt a deep vibration through the ice as Earth's ancient defenses prepared for activation. The true test of humanity's potential was about to begin, and the outcome would determine not just Earth's fate, but the future of human evolution itself. The global response to the revelation of humanity's true history was chaos. As news spread of the ancient facilities activating worldwide, Earth's unified defense began to fracture. Some nations demanded immediate control of the facilities in their territories. Others called for surrender to the Confederation, fearing the consequences of resistance. In the Antarctic Command Center, Commander Raina Patel watched as the political situation deteriorated. "We're losing cohesion," she reported to Admiral Harrison. "The Chinese have already tried to seize control of the facility in the Himalayas. The Russians are threatening to launch their nuclear arsenal if they're not given full access to the Siberian site." "They don't understand what they're dealing with," Maya said, not looking up from her work at the ancient console. "These facilities aren't weapons to be controlled, they're part of a system that's been guiding our evolution for 50,000 years. The Admiral's cybernetic eye flickered as he processed incoming reports. "We have 12 hours at most before the Confederation makes their move. If we can't unite humanity by then, none of this will matter." Above them, the Confederation fleet had grown to over 1,000 ships. Their organic-looking vessels hung in Earth's orbit like a web of living metal, their very presence causing disruptions in Earth's electromagnetic field. "We're receiving a transmission," Raina announced. "They're asking to speak with the control group leadership." Maya nodded. "Put them through. It's time we understood exactly what we're part of." The holographic display flickered, and a figure appeared, humanoid, but changed in ways that made them all catch their breath. The being's skin had a metallic sheen, its eyes were pools of swirling energy, and its form seemed to shift subtly, as if it wasn't quite solid. "Children of Earth," the figure spoke, its voice resonating on multiple frequencies at once. "We are what you were meant to become. The experiment has reached its conclusion. It is time for reunification." "Reunification?" Maya stepped forward. "You abandoned Earth. Left us to develop on our own while you pursued your own evolution." "We left you pure," the figure corrected. "Unaltered, to develop along natural paths while we explored the limits of technological enhancement. Now we have reached those limits, and we see in you what we have lost." Admiral Harrison's voice was tight with controlled anger. "You're saying we're some kind of backup plan? Insurance in case your evolution didn't work out?" "We are dying," the figure stated simply. "Our technological evolution has reached its end. Each generation becomes more unstable, less capable of reproduction. But you have achieved in 50,000 years what we could not. You found balance between technological advancement and natural evolution." In the background, alerts flashed as more nations moved their military forces toward the ancient facilities. The world was teetering on the edge of civil war just as humanity's greatest challenge loomed. "You want our DNA," Maya realized. "You need our natural evolution to stabilize your artificial one." "We want more than that," the figure replied. "We want to bring humanity back together, to combine our paths into something greater. But first, you must prove yourselves worthy. Show us that you can unite, that you can overcome your primitive tribal instincts." Raina checked her tactical display again. "We've got movement in orbit. Their fleet is shifting formation." "You have 6 hours," the figure announced. "Unite your world under single leadership, submit to reunification, or we will begin planetary sterilization. We will not allow this experiment to fail." The transmission cut off, leaving them in stunned silence. The choice before them was impossible: somehow unite a fracturing world in 6 hours, or face extinction. "Maya," Admiral Harrison turned to her, "what are our options?" She was already moving between consoles, integrating modern systems with the ancient facilities' interfaces. The facilities are all connected. They're not just defensive installations, they're a global network designed to influence human consciousness itself. It's how they guided our evolution, nudging us toward greater cooperation and advancement. "Can we use it?" Raina asked. "If we do, we're no better than them," Harrison argued. Manipulating humanity's consciousness is exactly what the Confederation did. Maya's hands paused over the controls. Maybe we don't need to manipulate anyone. Look at these readings. The network doesn't control consciousness, it enhances it. Makes us more aware of our connection to each other. The Confederation abandoned this path because it was too slow, but it's what made us what we are. Warning signals blared as military forces around the world moved closer to conflict. In orbit, the Confederation fleet began powering up weapons that could scorch Earth's surface clean of life. We have a choice to make, Maya said, looking at her companions. We can activate the network, not to control humanity, but to remind everyone of what we really are. To awaken the potential that's been growing in us for 50,000 years. Or we can try to fight both the Confederation and ourselves. Time was running out. Earth stood at a breaking point, and the next decision would determine not just their survival, but the very future of human evolution. As Maya's hand hovered over the activation controls, they all understood that whatever they chose, humanity would never be the same again. Maya's hand came down on the activation control. Throughout the ancient facility, lights pulsed with new energy. Around the world, in similar installations hidden beneath ice, desert, and sea, the network hummed to life. But what happened next was nothing like they expected. There was no sudden mind control, no forced unity. Instead, every human on Earth experienced something far more profound: clarity. Like waking from a long dream, people began to feel the connections that had always existed between them, to understand their place in humanity's greater story. "My God," Admiral Harrison whispered, his cybernetic eye recording the phenomenon spreading across the globe. "It's not controlling them. It's making them remember." Through the facility's monitors, they watched as armies stood down. Political leaders who had been on the brink of war minutes ago now reached out to each other in understanding. The ancient network wasn't forcing cooperation, it was simply removing the barriers that prevented it. "The Confederation's weapons are powering up," Reyna reported, but her voice was calmer now, filled with a new certainty. "They're not going to wait 6 hours. They can sense what we've done," Maya said, her fingers dancing across the facility's controls with newfound intuition. "They know we've chosen a different path." Above Earth, the Confederation fleet's organic ships began to move, their weapons charging with enough power to scorch continents. But Earth was ready. The ancient defense network, dormant for 50,000 years, had awakened not to weapons of destruction, but to something far more powerful. From every facility around the globe, waves of energy began to pulse outward. Not attacking the Confederation ships, but reaching out to them, recognizing them as part of humanity's fractured family. The holographic display crackled to life again, showing the transformed human who had delivered their ultimatum. But now the figure's confident demeanor had cracked, showing uncertainty and fear. "What have you done?" the figure demanded. "This is not the response we expected." Maya stepped forward, speaking not just for herself but for all of humanity. "We chose not to repeat your mistakes. You abandoned Earth because this path was too slow, too uncertain. You chose artificial evolution because you wanted immediate results. But look at what that impatience has cost you." The facility's sensors showed the truth: the Confederation ships were struggling to maintain their cohesion. The organic technology that made them so powerful was also their greatest weakness, making them vulnerable to the pure human consciousness now radiating from Earth. "Your evolutionary path led to a dead end," Maya continued, "not because technological advancement was wrong, but because you tried to force it. You forgot what it means to be human." Through the network, they could feel the response of Confederation crews across the fleet. The artificial barriers that had separated them from their humanity for 50,000 years were breaking down. "You have a choice now," Reyna added, her tactical display showing Confederation ships beginning to power down their weapons. "You can try to destroy us, to erase your own past and continue down your failing path. Or you can remember who you really are. The figure on the holographic display shifted, its metallic surface rippling as ancient programming battled with awakening humanity. We cannot go back. We have evolved too far. We're not asking you to go back, Maya said. We're offering you a chance to go forward together. Your technological advancement combined with our natural evolution. Not by force, not by artificial means, but through the same gradual process that brought humanity this far. Admiral Harrison's cybernetic eye registered the changes spreading through the Confederation fleet. Ships that had been charging weapons were now powering them down. The organic vessels were responding to their crew's awakening humanity, transforming into something new. The experiment didn't fail, Maya explained, understanding flowing through her from the ancient network. It succeeded exactly as it was meant to. Not by proving one path superior to the other, but by bringing us to this moment of choice. The figure in the hologram had changed, its metallic surface becoming more natural, more human. We remember, it said, its voice losing its artificial resonance. We remember what we were. What we could be again. Around Earth, the Confederation fleet was transforming. The organic ships were no longer machines of war but vessels of transformation, their very structure adapting to bridge the gap between what humanity had become and what it could be. It's happening everywhere, Reyna reported, monitoring global communications. The network is reaching every human, both on Earth and in the fleet. We're not just remembering our past, we're seeing our future. The ancient facilities pulsed with renewed purpose, not as weapons or tools of control, but as bridges between what humanity had been and what it would become. The great experiment that had begun 50,000 years ago was reaching its true conclusion. Maya looked up at the holographic display, now showing scenes from around the world as humanity stepped into a new age of evolution. We didn't just choose a different path, she said. We chose all paths, together. This is what evolution really means, not the triumph of one way of life over another, but the courage to embrace all possibilities. As the sun rose over Antarctica, Earth's ancient facilities continued their work, not ending the experiment but transforming it. Humanity had reached its breaking point and chosen not to break but to transcend, proving that true evolution comes not from force or artificial advancement, but from the courage to remain human in the face of change. The day Earth said no had become the day humanity said yes to its true potential, starting a new chapter in the greatest experiment of all, the journey of human consciousness toward its ultimate destiny among the stars.